We only have a single bronze key, so we'll just have to open one of these small chests.
Hey, bro,
if you want to open the better ones, you'll need silver or gold keys.
Come on, man.
What in the word of argumentation? Welcome in, Exiles. Go ahead and slam that like and subscribe button if you are excited for Path of Exile 2 as much as I am. I feel like the hype is just flowing out of me right now. I'm so hyped for Path of Exile 2, and they finally did what I asked for. I was wanting to see that in-game content reveal. I've seen so many videos of players playing through the axe with low-end gear, you know, going through the campaign. Looks amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love that content. I like seeing things, but this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I believe most people have been waiting for, is that in-game content. How does the in-game flow? The mapping, the progression, the bosses. How does a geared character look in combat? And we got to see a lot of that here today. One of the first things I wanted to take a look at is some of the ascendancies that I thought was cool, like the warrior ascendancies. Looks pretty cool. I like the slam, jam, whamma, bam style of Path of Exile. I've always been like, the first class I've ever played was the Marauder. So I've always been a big melee fan. In any game I play, I usually play a warrior. They got me a little tempted to play other classes with some of their presentations, but I think I'm gonna play warrior. I don't know, guys. Mercenary looks really cool. Deadeye, I just don't know, but the warrior looks amazing. I'm just fearful of the warrior, you know, having some trouble, some struggles, but let's hope for the best. So far from the trailer, I think I like a lot of what I see. So let's get into it here.
You can choose between the Warbringer or the Titan. The Warbringer channels the might of his ancestors to gain tremendous power. Using Answered Call, you can summon ancestral spirits linked to each of your totems. With Jade...
So, I've never played Totem Warrior, like a Totem Slam style. Have you guys ever played Totem Slam style? Now, I've always wanted to be the guy that slams. You know, I don't want to watch my Totem slam. So, I've never been a big Totem Slam guy. But let me know in the comments if you are.
Heritage. You can encase your body in a protective layer that absorbs all damage until it breaks. Warcall is...
That seemed pretty cool, but does it stop your movement? It looked like he was frozen, like he couldn't move, but like it is a way to perhaps avoid one-shot mechanics. Perhaps, maybe. Cheat death type of thing. But it looked like he couldn't move at all when he did that.
Bellow allows you to explode the corpses of your enemies, and with Great Wolf's Howl you can ignore the cooldowns of your war cries. Let all that anger out.
Alright, so right
Titan.
there, Great Wolf's Howl, that sounds pretty interesting. So no cooldowns on your war cry, and then you can explode the corpses of with your war cries. That's pretty interesting. That's some stuff we got from, what was that, Affliction League, with the war cry explodes monsters' corpses. And then of course in the next patch we got the Chaos helmet that also did something similar, and that's very interesting. I wonder if they'll carry over some of those items from Path of Exile 1 to Path of Exile 2 that with the Warcry stuff. I was not able to get it to be very good. Like, it was decent for mapping, but it wasn't good for bossing and things like that. So maybe it's just like the clearing skill you can do with your war cries in Path of Exile 2.
Class is all about hitting big. With Earthbreaker, every slam is a chance to create an aftershock.
20% chance for slam skills, you use yourself to cause aftershock. So if you're one of those totem bros, this is going to work for you. But aftershocks, it seems pretty interesting. Only 20% chance. So that's like 1 out of every 5 slams you'll get an aftershock. And of course there may be ways to get more aftershock chance, so with gear and stuff like that. So let's go for it.
With Crushing Impacts, every hit becomes a crushing blow, which will allow you to stun your enemies with ease. With Surprising Strength, you can take advantage of stunned enemies to deal 40% more damage.
Keyword, 40% more damage. not just 40% damage, more. So multiplicative. I don't, why can't I say that word, man? Multiplicative. So it's like 40% more damage against heavy stunned enemies. So that's more, not just 40% damage increase. Keywords are very important, so that's very good.
As a ranger, you might choose to be a Deadeye, an expert markswoman who can take down foes with style.
Ah, Deadeye, man. Deadeye Andes. So we do have the Deadeye. Deadeye seems interesting. What else? We have the marksman. We have the monk. Like, the monk class was pretty cool. But, you know, I'm not a big monk guy. You know, I never played monk in Diablo 3. I just never liked the class. I never liked the fister. So let's go forth a little more here.
We only have a single bronze key, so we'll just have to open one of these small chests. If you want to open the better ones, you'll need silver or gold keys.
Want a word of argumentation?
Let's use the Altar of Ascendancy.
Alright, so this is what we've all been waiting for, mapping and in-game content. So look at this. This looks like in something out of Age of Empires or some kind of like RTS strategy game. This looks beautiful. The new Atlas is 3D and it just looks amazing. It looks like something out of an RTS.
Is the Atlas, and it serves as the core of the endgame for Path of Exile 2. It's infinite and expands in all directions. Now,
it's infinite. Okay, that is... he said it's infinite. Okay. Wow, it looks like... I'm a big RTS fan, guys. I love Age of Empires. StarCraft. I just love RTS games. I played a lot of RTS, and this looks really cool. I like how it looks. It's like you're on a RTS campaign. Like you got your little boss temples, I guess, and you got some like towers you got to go through. This looks good.
We are not going to spoil the plot too much here, but corruption from the beast has blighted the land, and your objective is to help fight it. In the center of the Atlas you will find the Ziggurat, a temple in which the Vaal research the fundamentals of space and time. Here we can open portals to nearby locations and begin cleansing corruption and finding resources. In order to power the portal device we will need waystones. Each waystone has a tier which will determine the level of the monsters that you will face. To go to an area, simply click one that is adjacent to an area that you have already completed. Insert the waystone and click Traverse. Portals will open, allowing you and your party to travel to the area you have selected. All the areas in the endgame feel distinct from the locations in the campaign, and we have dialed the randomization up to 11. The monster packs you will face in each map are totally random.
Is that Flicker Strike? Alright.
And the combination of them can lead to some very interesting combat situations. There are over 400 monster types in early access, and they have
400?
a lot of varied and interesting abilities. Depending on which combinations you face, you might find some serious challenges. In order to cleanse the corruption from the area, you will need to defeat all the powerful rare and unique enemies in it. Once you have done that,
is that an MTX or an ability of an Ascension? Because that looks pretty cool.
The area will be marked as completed and you will be able to travel past it to progress deeper into the world. If you die, then the map can no longer be run, and you will have to find another way around to get to the areas behind it. There are also all kinds of other random encounters you might run into as you play maps.
Speed Shrine! My favorite!
One such encounter are precursor artifacts. These are ancient, corrupting monuments that irradiate the monsters around them. The monsters that feed off the corruption are drawn to their power. If you defeat the monsters and cleanse the artifact, you will get a powerful temporary buff. Some of the buffs make you faster, others rain lightning or fire around you, and some even give you increased experience or help you find better items. You can also find strong boxes. These enigmatic chests guard piles of treasure, but are always a trap. Monsters lie in wait to attack you the moment you open it, and the boxes often have mechanisms to unleash powerful spells or dangerous debuffs. There are different types of strong boxes containing different items, and you can even use your currency items to craft them on the fly, so you can optimize the contents. But be careful of opening one you can't handle. Sometimes you'll discover monsters frozen in essences, solidified crystalline corruption. These dangerous monsters can be broken free. If you defeat them, the essence they drop can be used to upgrade normal items to magic items with a guaranteed mod from a category. For example,
alright, so this looks pretty interesting. I like the idea behind content progression and some of the mapping features there. My concern is that it's looking a little slow for the combat. Now the first part with the Flicker Strike looked pretty similar to Path of Exile 1 kind of gaming, but some of the other classes is looking, some of the other skills that I'm seeing here is looking a little slow for mapping, but let's continue.
We could use this one on some boots to ensure a movement speed mod.
I like that. So like a better essence, but we start getting access. Well, it's like an essence basically, like one of the. But 35% from just like the basic essence. That's good.
Rarely, essences will also drop that allow you to upgrade magics to rares, adding the guaranteed mod. This is incredibly powerful since it allows you to get a second deterministic mod in your crafting projects. Combining these with the current
so this makes crafting a lot easier because you can guarantee specific mods with these tokens. So it's like old school hoardy crafting. It's like old school hoardy crafting where you could do more deterministic crafting. But instead it's like with tokens, currencies. Okay. So old school harvest crafting. Okay.
Currencies that are commonly found in Rayclast for modifying items, and we can get a
what is the like? Okay. This is some good boots that he made for a level 65. What is the chances that we can make something similar, you know, around this level? That's really nice. Almost triple res.
Very nice pair of boots indeed. Waystones, like all items, can also be crafted using your currency items. Adding prefix mods will improve the rewards, while suffix mods increase danger. The more danger...
That's pretty cool. So that's like the new... what's it called? Off the top of my head. I haven't played in a while. Path of Exile 1. What am I trying to think of? I don't think it's in the game anymore. Because they changed them to scarabs.
Dangerous a map is, the more waystones will drop. Adding mods to your waystones is key to progressing to higher tiers and
Do you remember what that was? It was like something we applied to the stones. I forgot what it was that would give them buffs. Let me know in the comments.
Sustaining them, but it will require you to take on larger challenges. There are a variety of factors you'll have to consider when crafting your waystones. Some maps will have
that clear.
Have higher density, some lower, some have more magic and rare chests, or monsters, some
Bruh, why is Mercenary so awesome?
are more linear, and others more open.
Look at Warrior, he looks slow and weak. Mercenary looked amazing, had full screen clear almost.
Make sure you explore and think about what makes certain maps good if you want to maximize your returns. As you cleanse corruption from higher and higher tiers of the Atlas, you will gain points that you can spend in the Atlas tree. This tree allows you to juice the danger and rewards of all areas in the endgame. You could increase the number of monsters,
Look at the Mercenary!
the number of rares, the number of precursor artifacts or strongboxes, even the quantity of item drops. As you explore the
Bruh. Man, I may go Mercenary after seeing this. Mercenary looks amazing. A Mercenary looks amazing.
in-game world map, you'll notice various different biomes, from snow-capped mountains to dense jungle valleys. Most maps are restricted to certain biomes. As you continue to explore deeper into the Atlas, there are all sorts of things to discover. These cities are constructed by different peoples of Rayclast, and have specific items that can be found there. These strange structures marked on the map don't appear to do anything for now. Perhaps you'll work out how to use them later. You might find unique maps like Untainted Paradise, an undisturbed island full of beasts that give an extreme amount of experience. You may even find a lonely man just enjoying his retirement who will give you a unique item for free. In addition, you can find special areas that would make a good spot to set up camp. Clear these areas of their hostile inhabitants, and you'll be able to claim them as your own hideout. You can decorate your hideout as you see fit and invite various NPCs to join you there to create your own personal base of operations. A great tool for exploration are towers. These mysterious precursor constructs are dotted around the Atlas. Completing the tower will reveal a large area around it, allowing you to scout out your next challenge. There are lots of things to find, so keep looking. Some sections of your Atlas are influenced by corruption. This adds extra modifiers to the maps in the region, increasing difficulty and rewards. Here, slaying monsters in close proximity to each other will cause the vestiges of corruption within them to merge together, forming powerful and grotesque abominations. You may have noticed while looking at the Atlas that some of the areas have these icons above them. The icon indicates that the area contains some kind of special encounter. This icon indicates that the area has a powerful boss. Because only 1 in 4 maps contain a map boss, we are able to make them very powerful and very rewarding. These bosses come from the campaign, but have had their difficulty increased with changes to AI and some of their abilities. It's worth noting that because you can see where the bosses are, you can choose to take them on or avoid them. If you do choose to hunt bosses though, then you will be rewarded with special points for the boss hunting section of the Atlas skill tree. The points here will allow you to specialize in boss killing, giving you much greater rewards for defeating them. For each
Every time I see that mercenary skill.
different type of content in the endgame, we are adding specialized trees in order to make it so you don't feel the need to respec your points when you change between different types of content. We will be showing you 7 of these by the end of this presentation, so there is still a lot more to come. Bosses are not the only icon you will see on the Atlas. Let's take a look at one of the endgame systems, Breach. If you played PoE 1, you might be familiar with Breach. For PoE 2, we have created sequels to several PoE 1 leagues. While the mechanic is familiar, the monsters, bosses, rewards, and progression are all new. A breach is a tear in the fabric of reality. Opening it will allow you to see the demons and otherworldly monstrosities that lie in wait on this other plane of existence. By engaging with a breach, you'll create a bridge between their world and Rayclast. In order to keep the breach open, you will need to kill the demons that pour forth. The faster you can kill the monsters, the more monsters you will fight, and the more loot you will find. You can also find clasped hands that will open and drop more items.
You know what I'm starting to notice? A lot of these maps are looking like, kind of like roguelike corridors. You got, doesn't look as massive as like when you're mapping in Path of Exile 1. And there's like tons and tons of monsters. It looks more confined, and even with this breach showcase, it doesn't show a lot of monsters.
Items if you run over them. These can be a good boost to the rewards of the breach, so keep an eye out. One of the rewards that you may find while fighting monsters from Breach are tablets. Tablets are special items that can be used with precursor towers to add more encounters to the Atlas. Breaches will drop breach tablets. Clicking on a completed tower will allow you to consume the tablet to add more breaches to areas within range of the tower. This makes all the content in the Atlas self-sustaining. Want to do more breaches? Find the tablets, add them to your towers, get more breaches, getting more tablets. Soon your Atlas...
Okay, so this map looks a little bit more open. Density looks okay, but it doesn't seem like a lot. Because, you know, in Path of Exile 1, when you open a breach, it's like madness. But of course, you know, you can buff up breaches with the Atlas points and stuff. So who knows what we can really do for monster density.
Atlas will be covered in otherworldly domains. In addition, like all items in PoE, you can craft them. Use your currency to add mods to your tablets, allowing you to upgrade all the breaches in range. Tablets can have up to 2 mods. These mods do things like adding extra rare monsters, extra clasped hands, or even monster density of breaches, allowing you to
There we go. Density.
keep them open longer. Often you will find multiple towers near to each other with overlapping areas of effect. This can allow you to really juice the mechanic by stacking the mods from multiple tablets.
Ah, so these towers is what buffs up the the maps in the area. So rather than, you know, juicing and crafting one map up, you actually increase the, like, all the little map nodes with these towers. Okay.
In your fight to hold the Breach Demons at bay, you may want to use the powers of their world against them. Each endgame mechanic always has player power that can only be gained from that mechanic, and Breach is no different. In Breach you will find catalysts, items that can increase the quality of rings and amulets by improving specific mocks. You can also find Breach Rings, a special base type that can have its quality improved by catalysts up to 50%. In this case, you could create a ring with around 170 life. Breach Rings can become some of the strongest rings in the game, giving you some good motivation to
that is pretty strong.
Face the demon hordes. In addition, each endgame mechanic needs to have a pinnacle endgame encounter. While killing Breach monsters, you may find Breach Splinters. Collect enough of these and you'll be able to create a Breach Stone. Using a Vaal technology called the Realm Gate, you can use your Breach Stone to access their domain and bring the fight to them. In this twisted domain, you will find nothing but a single massive breach. Triggering it will reveal hordes of Breach inhabitants. And should you be fast enough, you will be able to fight their leader, Zesht. We that are one.
We that dreamed. We in nightmare. We that are one. Fate relies truth.
Oh, that animation! His wings are like hands and he flicked like some power attack at him. That was pretty cool. I like that.
This is just one of the pinnacle encounters of PoE 2. We won't be showing the rest of them, so you will have to discover them for yourself. But rest assured, this is some of the hardest content we have ever made. All these encounters have specific uniques that can only be found from them, but that's not all. We still have the progression system. Defeating Zesht will give you points to allocate into the Breach section of the Atlas tree. Allocating these points will make breaches and the Breach domain even harder, but will give you more rewards. The small nodes will increase the difficulty of the Twisted Domain, while the large nodes have more specific bonuses. For example, this node adds more clasped hands to your breaches, and adds a pack of magic monsters that can guard them. Get some more points and you can allocate Waking Nightmare, which will double the number of splinters you get from clasped hands, and inflict you with a mysterious debuff. In order to earn more points, you will need to defeat Zesht at a higher difficulty, and some rewards from Zesht can only be found by increasing...
Now that's very interesting. So these is seeming like... This reminds me of kind of like Dark Souls and a roguelike game combined into one. Like, these boss battles look pretty brutal. Like, you gotta memorize certain attack patterns. I'm not sure you're gonna be able to just walk in, like, with the geared character and one-shot this like how you can in Path of Exile 1. It looks like you have to actually do some dodging and mechanics.
The difficulty of the Twisted Domain above certain thresholds. Defeating Zesht at difficulty 4 will be a challenge indeed, but there are many more threats in Rayclast. Ritual altars are sacrificial sites built by the mysterious King in the Mists.
Rituals! And notice the King of the Mist, that's the change they made recently with rituals.
If you encounter this symbol on the Atlas, then you know that the area contains ritual altars. Ritual altars demand tribute. Every monster you slaughter in the circle will feed the altar. After the sacrifice, touch it to begin the ritual. The monsters you just killed will be resurrected by the King of the Mist's dark magic, and you must fight to survive. The tribute you have offered to the altar can be spent to buy powerful items, but they can be expensive. To gain more tribute, you will want to find more altars. Each successive ritual you do within an area will spawn the monsters revived by the previous ones, in addition to the ones you sacrifice next to it. By the end of an area, you will be fighting a truly imposing number of foes, but will have a significant amount of tribute to spend. One of the rewards you can buy with tribute are omens. These are special items that allow for meta crafting. Crafting items that affect other crafting items.
Ah, so they've changed omens. So omens are more crafting, really. Your next exalted orb would add only a prefix.
Have an item with good prefixes but bad suffixes? This omen will help you to remove the mod you don't want while keeping the ones you do. There are a bunch more of these with different effects, but we will leave them for you to discover. Now don't forget that Ritual will also drop tablets which can be used to specialize into getting more rituals. If you want to get to the pinnacle boss of Ritual, then you will...
So Warrior looks like he'll be God tier for farming rituals. So you're trapped in an arena where ranged classes may have more difficulty, but the Warrior, he was just standing and fighting. And it's just a small arena, and he can cover a lot of the area with slams.
Probably want to use them. They can also be crafted to grant mods, making your rituals more rewarding. The pinnacle encounter of Ritual is the King in the Mists. Feared by the Asmeri people, he is said to have brought eternal darkness to the Wildwood. We won't show the encounter, but just like Breach, there are a range of unique items you can get for defeating him, and you will gain points in the Ritual section of the Atlas tree. Some maps have been...
You know why they didn't show a lot of that? Because you remember when King of the Mist first came out, and when you had to go through that little maze thing, and all those little black, like little beetle monsters would just cover the entire area, and people had to figure out how to get through that. I think that's why they didn't show that there. He wants to kill a lot of people with those tricks. That's why he didn't show it.
Touched by insanity. A mysterious entity has taken a special interest in you. Step through the looking glass and you will find your nightmares coming to life. When you touch a mirror, the mists of delirium will spread out across the area, infecting your mind. You must stay within the mist to maintain the nightmare, which is as profitable as it is terrifying. Everything you kill will increase the rewards that drop. However, the deeper into the mist you travel, the stronger the monsters are. Be careful not to overstay your welcome. Rare and unique enemies will become vessels for terrifying demons, who will manifest out of them to unleash powerful attacks on you. The mist also offers a strange crafting material.
So like Delirium and Beyond combined, when you kill a bunch of monsters, it summons a bigger monster or a stronger monster. Kind of like Beyond monsters.
Distilled emotions. By combining these emotions, you are able to instill your amulet with a notable from the passive skill tree. This is like gaining an extra passive point for free, attached to your gear. They are also particularly great because you don't have to traverse the tree to get them, allowing you to get off-class bonuses that would normally be much harder to get. Distilled emotions can also be used to instill your endgame maps, applying Delirious to them and adding additional difficulty and rewards, allowing you to further juice your endgame maps. The tablets
More juice.
you can find from Delirium can be used to further improve it, increase pack size, make the fog dissipate slower, or improve your progress towards the pinnacle encounter.
See, like this map here, it looks more like you're doing a dungeon crawl rather than yeah, it looks kind of weird.
Of Delirium. Speaking of
I guess because the updated graphics and how it looks a little bit more zoomed in a little.
which, every now and then you will find simulacrum splinters. The mysterious entity will create strange encounters based on warped versions of your own memories. Monsters
Simulacrum.
and simulacrums come in waves that get progressively more difficult. You will receive loot at the end of each wave, and you will have to make the decision to leave now or continue on, facing up against even tougher foes from the mist. The bosses you will face as you get deeper into a simulacrum are truly terrifying. If you can complete a simulacrum, you will gain points for the Delirium section of the Atlas skill tree. Next up we have Expedition. Occasionally while clearing corruption, you will encounter these Kalguran settlers. The Kalgurans have discovered ancient burial sites with lost Verisium artifacts, and they want you to help dig them up with explosives. The Kalgurans
Okay, so it's still the same.
have marked the locations where the relics can be found. Place explosives as best you can to dig up as many as possible. There is just one problem. Corruption has brought the corpses of their ancestors to life, so you might have to do a little cleanup before you can reclaim the artifacts. You can also find remnants, the destruction of which will further anger the restless dead. Each one you blow up will make the subsequent monsters more powerful, but also more rewarding. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin will exchange the artifacts for useful items and runic magic. You can also find tablets to increase the number of expeditions and the rewards. This one increases the radius of explosives, while this one increases the number of remnants you will find. Eventually, you might discover a logbook. These are special maps full of buried treasure and relics. Essentially one giant...
Okay, so far Expedition looks very similar to how it is in Path of Exile 1. Not much big change to it.
dig site. Here you can create an extremely long chain of explosives and go through a very high number of remnants. But be careful, many remnants have mods that can really brick your build, so you will probably want to avoid these ones. If you add too many remnants, you could easily make the encounter harder than you can handle. There are all sorts of interesting things buried under the ground in logbooks. You might find dripping caves and hidden pirate caches. But the most powerful encounter is Olroth, the ancient undead commander of the Knights of the Sun. Defeating him will grant you unique rewards, as well as points to spend in the expedition section of
That was a sick introduction.
the Atlas tree. So those are the endgame systems on the Atlas, but we are not done yet. The trials we talked about earlier have much more content when you get to endgame 2. Just like the other endgame systems, they also have progression mechanics, unique rewards, and player power that can only be gained from them. As you get higher level coins for the Trial of the Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore. Each floor has its own challenging rooms, and a floor boss that you will need to kill. There are 4 floors in total, leading to another pinnacle boss at the end of the last floor, which can only be accessed at endgame. The Trial of the Sycamores is where you'll find jewels, which you can socket into your tree. These are like passives that you can craft with your currency items. They can be really powerful as they allow you to stack modifiers that may not be easily accessible on the tree normally. This jewel gives lightning damage and shock chance, for example. There are quite a few jewel sockets on the tree, so it's possible to gain a lot of power here. There are also other types of jewels that don't provide any bonuses themselves, but affect other passives surrounding them. This jewel increases the effect of small nodes and radius by 25%. With careful placement in the tree, you could get a significant amount of power from it. There are also...
these jewels will... That was a blue jewel. That's not even like didn't seem like it was like a super rare jewel. Man, mercenary. Man, I'm going mercenary. I've already decided. Mercenary.
So unique jewels available with very interesting effects, but you will have to find those for yourself. In order to push further into the trial and uncover the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take advantage of its progression system, relics. Relics are items that can be placed in the relic altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example, this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have only 1 honor for the entire trial, so you will need to do a completely hitless run.
Original Sin. 1 hit kill. So this is like the new Original Sin run here.
The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain inscribed ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you can go through increases. In true Vaal style, this allows you to take even more risks for even more rewards. At endgame, you can progress through up to 10 chambers with 3 bosses on a single run. Stacking 10 tribulations on top of each other will make this a significant challenge, but it's worth it. The Trial Master will tempt you with items of the Vaal Empire, such as Vaal Orbs. Vaal Orbs are powerful crafting items that corrupt your gear with random mysterious outcomes. Corruption prevents an item from being modified further, so it has to be the last step of your craft, but it's also the most impactful one. For example, if you use one on your body armor, it might add a new powerful enchantment, or it might reroll up to half of its modifiers. Vaal Orbs also have the ability to add a socket, allowing you to bypass the normal restriction of how many sockets an item can have. A body armor could get up to 3 sockets this way, allowing for a significant number of mods. Vile Orbs can even modify uniques. Adding enchantments or sockets to uniques can make them incredibly powerful, but there is a good chance that you will break them as well. The Trial Master will also occasionally offer you soul cores. Originally formed by Chaos, the Vile sought to replicate soul cores through human sacrifice rituals and blood magic to power their civilization. Soul cores are powerful socketable items, with mods that cannot be obtained from regular runes. Like all endgame content, there is of course a pinnacle boss. The final chamber will drop keys to this mysterious door. Some say this is where the Trial Master himself resides. Perhaps you are willing to take the risk to find out.
Ah, Trial Master. Yeah.
Had enough.
So I wonder what his loot will be. Will it be the Hate Forge, and will it be different? Will it be better? Because the current Hate Forge, you can't use a lot of Vol skills with it. It's like Vol Ground Slam, and there was another skill that worked with it, but it's just like not a lot of Vol skills you can use with it.
Enough yet? Because there is still just one more thing. The most difficult content in Path of Exile 2. While mapping, you might come across this fortress that has emerged from underground, surrounded by an enormous maze riddled with danger. Is the maze preventing something from getting in, or something getting out? This fortress is of ancient origin, and its construction has similarities to the towers and tablets that you have been using on your journey through the endgame. It is clear from the entrance that there are 3 keys required to enter. Local factions are vying for access to the fortress in order to seize the power they believe will be inside. Each of the faction's leaders have managed to get their hands on one of the keys, so you will need to defeat them.
Ah, so this is a new pinnacle bosses, and it kind of seems like it is similar to Alva. Kind of gives me Alva vibes.
Each faction is led by an Uber Act boss. You can see one of them inhabiting the city, but in order to fight him, you will first need to defeat their 2 lieutenants in the adjacent zones. Be careful, if you fail against either of the lieutenants,
Doriani. Oh wow.
or to kill the leader, they will move on, and you will need to find them again. Kill all the Uber bosses and you will gain access to the fortress. We aren't going to spoil
Kill all the Uber bosses. Holy cow, Uber.
it, as we can't wait to see you guys attempt it for the first time. But is there...
So we're going to have this in the early access. Now that's pretty cool. So we'll have Ubers, and then we'll get to access that area, which will be a mystery.
a tree you get points in after killing it? Of course there is. This is Path of Exile. There is always another tree.
So these are your challenges for PoE 2. As
Alright guys, what are you thinking so far? So the end game looks pretty loaded. Like we got a lot of content, and we got Breach, Ritual, Delirium, Expedition, in-game trials, and then of course we have the pinnacle bosses for the current end game. So let me know in the comments what you think so far, and let's continue on here. We have some things worried about, just a little. The presentation was absolutely amazing. We had a few things we're a little worried about. My final thoughts, I guess I kind of give on it. The combat looks amazing. It looks like Dark Souls, roguelite, all rolled into one like game, and it's like you're using a lot of dodge mechanics. You're dodging, attacking, and using various skills. You're watching for telegraphed attacks. So in this kind of instance, you'll pretty much know what kills you for sure, because you'll be able to see the attack kill you clear as day, because the gameplay looks a lot slower than the Path of Exile 1, where you're zooming through a map and you get one shot or you get killed and you're not sure exactly what may have got you there. So this may be an improvement for hardcore players, people who want to know more clarification on how they died, more visual clarity. But on the softcore side and the speed farming, action RPG type of side of Path of Exile players, this may be kind of a turnoff for their end game, because the end game looked quite, I would say, slow. Now, some of the density of the monsters looked okay with the Breach, and then of course they said you can increase the density with your map juicing and all that stuff. But I'm not sure we'll be able to reach the levels of Path of Exile 1 juicing, especially with all these graphic requirements and the servers. Maybe maybe they reduce a lot of that stuff to because of how much impact it is on the servers. Who knows? But it looks a lot slower for the in-game and the mapping content, even with the geared characters. It didn't look as fast as Path of Exile 1, of course. And it seems more like a dungeon crawler, Dark Souls, roguelite type of game, rather than an action RPG. Because the combat is so slow, like it looks a lot slower, and you're more reliant on your skills, your gaming skills, of dodging and avoiding certain attacks and telegraphs. So that's my thoughts on it so far. The end game looks really good. It looks like a completely different game from Path of Exile 1. And of course we'll still be able to play Path of Exile 1 and then play Path of Exile 2 as well. So it seems like Path of Exile 2 is going to be a slower, more skill-based, action RPG. Now the thing is, it's more roguelike and more like Dark Souls rather than the classic action RPG. They're innovating, but also taking it away from that fast-paced action RPG game. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'll like Path of Exile 2. It looks amazing. I want to try it out and see how it feels. Absolutely blast and get to the end game and see for myself how it plays. But it does look a lot slower. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know in the comments. I know it looks amazing. Like, I'm not knocking the game. It looks good. But it is a lot slower than Path of Exile 1, that's for sure. And it lacks a lot more of the action RPG. Because, when you're action RPG, you're just going in, hundreds of thousands of monsters, you're just blasting through, destroying tons of monsters and looking for loot. With this, it's a lot slower, telegraphed attacks, relying more on your skills of dodging and timing your skills to absorb certain blows of damage and things like that. So, other than that, I mean, it looks really good. The graphics look amazing. A lot of the new changes, like the Ascension Trials, is pretty cool. And it seems like they're moving forward with more of a skill-based type of RPG game, action RPG, I would say, more than anything. So, can't wait to see and play this game. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game. My only concerns was it's a lot slower than Path of Exile 1, and the in-game is more oriented on skill-based gameplay. So if you love Dark Souls, which I do, and I love roguelites, so I don't think I would dislike Path of Exile 2. But if you're a Path of Exile 1 player that strictly relies on blasting that fast-paced action RPG, thousands of monsters on the screen, and just zoom in and killing tons of monsters, I can see that this may be a turnoff for you guys. And who knows? I guess we'll see when it comes out how it performs, but it looks really good. And I think it'll have a lot of success. Like, they've put a lot of work into this game, and you can really tell all the details, the armor, the art, the bosses. Everything looks phenomenal. And I can't wait to play. We're only a few weeks away, and we're heading to the holidays, so this is going to be a good holiday season for action RPGs. Fans alike, there's tons of games to play, and once Path of Exile 2 comes out, I think it's going to dominate the charts for a while. And then, of course, after that, we'll have Path of Exile 1 announcement in January. And yeah, we got a lot of content lined up for us to play, and I can't wait. So go ahead and slam a like and subscribe button on the channel. I can't wait to play Path of Exile 2 and try to make builds and showcase that for you guys here. I'm going to try to do more streaming. I got to get on a streaming schedule because, I'll stream, but nobody usually shows up. And it's like one or two people, maybe a few people pop in, but I guess I'll have to set up a schedule if enough people actually want to watch. But that is for the future, and maybe we'll try to stream Path of Exile 2. But I'll definitely be making builds and content. I think I'm going to start a mercenary. Let me know what class you want to start. At first I was going to start a warrior, but man, they kept showing the mercenary, and the mercenary just looks so cool. It just looks really cool. You get the crossbow, the character model looks bad. I'm not going to say any curse words, but it looks amazing. Okay, well, that is that. Let me know in the comments what class you're going to be starting. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about the combat pacing? Is it too slow for you? Are you worried about it being too slow for you? Are you not a big fan of the Dark Souls skill-based type of gaming? Let me know. I'd like to hear your feedback and what your thoughts are on it so far. And until next time, peace out, Exiles.